one of the more amazing experiences that you were offered was this little trip to the Arctic.
It was.
And I've prepared a little surprise for you.
Uh-oh.
Let me see if I can bring that person in here. Give me just one moment.
Oh my.
Barry Campbell.
The Navy makes an appearance.
I've just surfaced, and I just wondered if you were going to recognize me without my fur hat on.
Well, I did see you in San Diego afterwards.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and you still have a hat on, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I
try to.
we can show our mops. Go ahead. So there you go. I recognize you now. It's Barry Campbell.
Ladies and gentlemen, without this man, Stargate would not have gone to the Arctic for Continuum and given us one of the coolest experiences as an audience. So, Barry, thank you for being here with us for a few minutes and for making that happen, for having the guts to show up to a convention in front of Martin Wood and John Smith and saying, "You want to go to the Arctic?"
I'll tell you, it was a fluke. It was, I'm a pretty shy guy. Okay, not, but I made the offer, not knowing whether I could capitalize on it or not. Went back and sold it to my boss, and he sold it to Big Navy, and it worked out.
Barry, did you know that Big Navy was going to put that background check on all of us? Because every time I went through security at an airport, the several months before and for months afterwards, they searched my bags every single time. What? I didn't realize it went so deep. But this security stuff you guys got going on is real.
There it is. It's the real thing. You hear about it, you see it in the movies, but they're serious. They're serious about the whole thing. Yeah, especially because most of the folks coming up were Canucks.
Yeah, so we had all the Canadians, right? And then
yeah.
And then the other thing is that they let us on a nuclear submarine.
The first idea for this was to get about 5 or so people up to the Arctic for an overnight, and maybe let them see a submarine and sign some autographs and take some pictures and then shuffle them away. And it just grew and grew. And I think Martin Wood had Brad Wright had a big part of that, because he wrote the script such that the Navy saved the Air Force. And when the Navy saw that, they thought, oh, well, let's just do something here. They said, I said, well, can we get them on the submarine? And they said, well, we'll probably be able to do that. They came back later after that script was there, and they said, do you think they'd like to film on the submarine? And my boss and I thought, sure, they would love it, I guess. So it just blossomed and blossomed.
The whole thing turned into Stargate Navy survival. The survivor in the Arctic. You got there, it was insane. It was 40 below, and 40 below, it doesn't matter if it's Fahrenheit or Celsius. And you were just walking from the plywood shed where we slept to the mess hall, your face would freeze. It was insane. We're out there. You got Amanda and I wandering out on the ice, not knowing how thick the ice is, while a helicopter disappears over the horizon. And you're thinking, well, I guess this is real now.
Yeah.
You go out at night to take a leak, and you scan the horizon with your flashlight for eyes, because the polar bears were roaming and hunting on the ice.
Sure.
I was like, who in their right mind thought this was a good idea? It was absolutely astounding. And
I tried to tell people that there's actual danger of death in doing this. It's not just like going on location. It's a whole different thing.
The 2 years before, they had a snowmobile go through the ice into the water.
Right.
And you're not going to survive when you go in the water.
No, you get in that water 15 seconds later, if you're not pulled out, you're frozen.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that was insanity. Amanda and I still talk about it. Occasionally I'll send her a picture of us in the Arctic just to go, can you believe we actually were there?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It was tremendous. I was up in the helicopter when they were doing that filming that scene, and the director of photography, his name will come to me. He's got the camera hanging out the door. We made one pass, and he didn't know where you were, and he couldn't get you centered in. So we figured out how to get you centered in the screen. Came by for the second pass. He's okay. I got him. I got him there right now. Holy crap! They're making snow angels.
That's true. Man and I looked at each other and said, we should just do snow angels instead of walk. Like, what are they doing? We're down there on our backs making snow angels in a place that no one would ever be again. It was a phenomenal experience. It was, we could see the northern lights in 360 degrees. It was just, it was awe-inspiring.
I felt for you guys that one when the submarine was surfacing, they had to make 3 passes in order to surface.
Right.
And you guys were out there. It was like 40 or 50 below, and you were there for 5 or 6 hours waiting for them to make a successful surfacing. And I was back in the warm hut, in charge of stuff, but in a hut, just wishing I was there with you, but glad I wasn't.
Ben, what did that feel like with like the ice moving beneath your feet as this thing comes through? What is that experience like?
It was cold.
Yeah.
Could you feel the submarine impact the ice?
It was really cold. Yeah, moving around is a good idea in the Arctic. Standing still on the ice is not a good idea.
And getting your back to the wind.
And there's so many little things out there that can go wrong so fast that you're literally hoping you haven't made a mistake. That the first day we did that, where we shot that, I made the mistake that I had left my boots on the floor the night before, and the cold comes up through the floor. Even if the hut is warm, the cold comes through and it literally freezes your boots.
Yeah, anything left on the floor will freeze.
Yeah, anything left on the floor will freeze solid. And I just went, you put your boots. I put my boots next to my bunk, and no one had told me, no, you need to put your boots up in your bunk with you.
Yeah.
And so when I put the boots on that day, it's cold, and you're kind of rushing out. And, they'll warm up, right? No, they don't warm. I about lost a couple of toes that day because I was standing on the ice afterwards. So there's so many little things that you just, for your safety and for your survival, that you kind of have to pay attention to. It's an incredible experience to be in that place. And we had all the help in the world. All we had to do was help clean up. We were doing mess hall, and we were on the mess hall roster for cleanup duty.
Yeah.
And you just kind of mix in and you go, oh, everybody's here to survive together.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I told my staff that we're going to bring actors up and the film crew, they were throwing things at me. Like, we cannot have these people. We can't just babysit these folks all the time. We got work to do. And I try to convince them that, these guys are professional. They will fit in and they'll do what they need to do, and it'll be fine. And you arrived in like an afternoon before dinner. I remember the first dinner, all the Stargate folks were at 1 or 2 tables, and the rest of us were at all the other tables. And by breakfast the next morning, everybody was all mixed together. And by lunch that day, my staff was saying, hey, these guys are all right. They erased our names off the KP board so they could get in and do KP. They're out mining ice. Where'd you get these guys? So it was good.
We went out with the sled. Water for the camp was provided by us going out with pickaxes and putting ice on a sled, and you come back and you melt it so that people can stay hydrated. And we did ice duty, we did KP, we did whatever was available on the roster, because you've got to contribute. You can't be in that kind of environment and be a load on everybody else.
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. You can find the full live stream shows on our YouTube channel or visit dialthegate.com for the complete schedule. See you on the other side.